Hello and welcome to the Noted Podcast. I am your host Daniel, and joining me is your other host, Eric.
Wah, wah, wah.
And today we are going to be talking about the circle. Not the circle of
Sir,
life.
it's just called Circle.
Yeah, sorry, circle. Not the circle, confused with another movie
A
because
horrible Netflix TV show
there's
about banging.
yeah, well,
Banging.
and there's also The Circle, which is a movie that came out in like 2017 or something.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah, we're doing Circle.
but we're doing Circle, just Circle. It's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
It's a
The
good one.
picture of it has like red dots in a circle.
It's kind of got like a
Yeah,
ball thingy in the middle.
yeah.
Looks ominous.
So,
Looks so scary.
I'm gonna just jump in. I'm gonna give you guys a quick little intro into this, and then we'll start discussing the movie.
Yes, sir.
30 people wake up in a dark room, standing in a circle. You can't leave the circle. If you try to leave the circle, you die. In the chaos, the captured people realize they are voting each other off. But not in the fun survivor way, in the forced killing kind of type of way. In life or death, a stressful environment, how will these people deal with the morality of killing each other? Will they find a way out? Or will they lose their humanity on the way? The circle. So that kind of just describes a little intro of the premise of what this movie's about. And we're gonna play a little bit of a game first, because I'd seen this movie before. This is one of my favorite movies, but Eric had not seen this movie.
Not once.
Who did you
Sorry.
think was gonna be the last standing when the first like 10 minutes into the movie?
My brain instantly went to there's a little girl. She's probably like
Hmm.
what 10, maybe 11.
Yeah, at most, yeah.
And then there's also a chick with a baby. And my brain was like, well, you got to spare the pregnant women and the children. So that's where my brain went first. And then a little bit, I'll probably say like maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, there's another character that talked and he like completely creeped me out. He looked like a floating head, and I was just like, this dude's scary. And so I also picked him as well.
Okay. And we'll revisit that in the middle once we get about halfway through. But they're sitting in the circle. A panicked girl steps off the circle, and if they step off the circle, they die. They get zip zapped. There's like an orb in the middle, and so she panics. Another guy is telling them to calm down,
Oh,
stop, and
dude.
then he
Okay.
gets killed.
The very last part when the guy who like takes control at the very beginning of it is like one
Hmm.
of the first, not like one of the first people who dies, but he dies
He's the
pretty
second.
quickly after
He's the
that.
second person to die,
Yeah, when he
or the third.
gets everybody under control, he's just like, everybody shut the fuck up, and everyone just like like turns their head to him, and he's like, okay.
Oh, the young guy. Yeah, we're thinking of two different people. It's such a Gen Z millennial thing to do too.
Yeah.
Like this guy looks like he's at most like 22,
Mhm.
23. Like
Mhm.
real young dude, and he just
He's
tells
definitely our age.
yeah, he tells everyone to shut the fuck up, and they all
This is
look
how
at
we're
him,
doing it.
and he's like, "Look, we're obviously voting each other off. We need to find a solution. Like, and then what's your solution?" He's like, "Look, I'm just trying to help.
Yeah,
Okay?"
old people first. Fuck them.
And he's like, "Why don't we kill all the elderly?" And
Yeah.
everyone's like, "What?" He's like, "They would be the first to die in real life. Yeah, natural causes." Like,
Yeah,
look,
70 above. 70 above. It's
yeah,
fine.
and
This old dude first.
they start with 70 above, and he starts killing them off. So, do you agree? Obviously, you would never want to kill anyone, but in
Well,
this
no. Yeah.
situation,
Well, I'm just going to
do
get
you,
that out of the way. Murder,
is
never
bad.
happy with. But if I were in the circle, old people out first. Yeah. 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 Give us more time. Give the younger people more time to figure it out. Yeah, I would. I hate that I agree with it, but it's like if people have to go, it's just like
But yeah, so he convinces them to so then they can save time because there's only like 2 minutes between each round, and it's like one long tribal council round in
oh
Survivor,
yeah.
but
Yep.
everyone's getting murdered.
Yep.
Um, And
Getting
because they're
yeeted.
not, they all are asleep when it first starts, by the way, and then they all get woken up. And they don't know why they're there. And then
Mm-mm.
someone mentions that they think it was an alien invasion, and
Yep.
that was the last thing they saw was like ships, and then they all got abducted, and then it seems like they're forcing the humans to kill each other off like some sick reality TV show.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's when we get our first kill of the group, is when the young man who said shut the fuck up
They all
mentions,
look at him and like, who the fuck are you, man?
yeah, because what ends up happening is the same guy who everyone agreed to kill the old people with, he tries to kill another girl, and she's like, no, I'm not old. And he's like, well, your
Yeah.
hair's gray. And she's like, I had cancer, asshole.
Yeah.
Because they said she looked old. She said,
Oh,
I'm
right,
50.
right,
He's
right,
like,
right, right,
why
right.
is your hair this way then? Because they
Yeah.
didn't believe her. And she said,
Yeah.
I have cancer. And then he's like, oh, so it's in remission, so it could come back. And I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck.
dude, he was yep.
And
And then
then,
everybody just kind of like gave him the evil eye and they all voted him out. It was
well,
like the
yeah.
first time everybody was just like, yeah, fuck this dude.
Yeah, because then he was like, "Oh, everyone who's 50, yeah, like we're gonna kill them." Because this dude who's like 20 is like, they were all cool with killing 70-year-olds because they're
Yeah.
close to dying, but the 50-year-olds, and then the cop was like, "I think anyone over 32 was gonna have an issue with this man." Like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. I feel
that
like in that situation with like the whole like take out the older people first. I agree with when I mean like older, I mean like visibly
70s,
like
80s,
I just mean like
yeah.
visibly older, like wrinkles and like you can tell that they've lived a life, right? Was it 2 to 3 or like 3 to 5 minutes between
It's like
each
two to three.
kill
They say
counter?
2 to 3, but then sometimes they have,
It's longer than that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And other
it's kind
times
of
it's like
iffy.
30 seconds. But
Sometimes it feels like it's going off every 20 seconds. Yeah, it's just
yeah,
like
but they
just
say
killing
it's
everyone.
like 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, and there's like 30-ish people I think in the room.
I think there's 56 or
Okay,
52 or
okay.
no 50
Yeah, no, that sounds right. That
because
sounds right.
the kill counter, the link that you sent me, has 50 counts of yeetedness.
Yeetedness. Yeah, because then we see here. I'm just going through the kill counter to make sure I'm following along right. Then young man dies, and then this is honestly kind of the saddest kill, I feel like, to me, is so they're like, maybe we need to get the lady who has cancer is like, we need to see if they picked us for a reason. And they're like, no, they didn't pick us for a reason. Like, but what if they did? What if we're all linked or have something in common? What if we're
Yeah.
supposed to figure that out? We need to know more about each other. And
Yeah, so someone tell their story.
they all resentfully agree to that. But then they're like, well, who's gonna go first? And this lady named Beth
Oh.
raises her hand, and she says, my name is Beth. And they're like, no names, no names. It'll make it easier. She's like, okay.
Yep, yep.
But she already said her name. And then she starts telling her story about how like she has dogs, she's not married, has no family, but she has nephews. She says what college she goes to and says the mascot, and then they kill her
They're just like,
immediately.
yeah,
Dude,
she ain't worth it. Gotta go bye.
dude, it
It's like,
is,
no, it's fucked.
bro. It made me laugh because that really do be how Survivor is. Like
Oh yeah,
if
yeah.
you
If you ain't
open
got the charisma, you can get
if
off the island.
well, and if you open up too far, like, dude, okay, the guy who took control immediately, yeah, he was only in control for a couple rounds, and then he got killed. Just like when whoever the first leader in Survivor is dies. It's not the first leader who wins or makes it far. It's like the third
No, it's
leader.
it's
It's
like
like
the
it's
last, pretty much.
well, it's like the second in command to the second in command of the original leader usually makes it far because they kill the other guy. They kill the two top dogs first, always. And so it just was hilarious, like sad but funny that they just killed her right away.
Oh no, I found myself laughing a lot in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of this movie is like debate and kind of like critical thinking almost, if you want to put it like that. Just like a lot of like,
No, no, yeah, exactly. Because then you start getting like you're all sitting in a room trying to figure out how do we get out of this, or do we have to
yeah,
kill each
how
other?
does
But
this
then you also
horrible
have
game work? Pretty much like if you can think of any controversial topic that is political, it's in this movie.
Exactly. And this is right around the
Literally
time.
everything.
Yeah, and so
Sorry, go
like,
ahead.
oh no, you're fine. It's just I feel like it's a good rep kind of to piggyback off what you're saying. Every controversial thing, or like every not controversial, but like every like
No,
big
I feel
ticket
like
topic.
yeah, well, I mean, controversial. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
like
fair, depending on what side
people
you're on.
people
Yeah,
will yeah, I mean, people will defend whichever what they think. Great sentence right there. Um,
I get
people
what you mean.
yeah, so it's just controversial.
Well, and so you get to see the fact that like they're all trying to work together, but they all have vastly different point of views.
Yeah, and they all want to live.
And so this is when we see kind of some of these people we talked about out of order, and we'll get to that. But you at this point, we find there's a cop who's in the room with a criminal abuser that he knows of, and he ends up grilling him into uh he ends up grilling them into him like admitting that he
Oh,
actually did
the
abuse his wife.
to the convict with like all the tattoos and stuff.
Yeah, and the teardrop on his face and stuff.
Yeah, dude, that part kind of sucked.
And then we get to see the first group of people the first two people who say they know each other, the married couple.
Yup.
And so there's a married couple in the group, and then there's two people who had an affair. Um,
Yeah, no,
but
she was.
yeah, because they're like, yeah, I know her, and they're like, yeah, I know her, and they're like, oh, how do you know each other? And they both stutter, and they're like, we're a coworker, and then she says a neighbor, and they're like, ah, and then the young Asian dude was like, and we're describing them because they literally don't use their names, so you have no way
Yeah.
to actually say their name. So
Yep.
the young Asian dude's like, ah, an affair, got it.
Yup.
Um, and then they kill the convict, and then the group at this point starts discussing that they need to decide who deserves to live and die,
Mm.
and that is when um, the black guy says, "We need to start killing some white people because you guys have killed a lot of black people, and
Bro, okay.
I'm not about to just die, and there just be a ton of white people." And then the
Yeah.
two people who had an affair are also black, and he looks at the older black dude and he's like,
There's
"Don't
also
look at
another
me."
Yeah, there's also another black guy. There's two there's one, two, three, four, five. There are five black people in the circle.
Yeah, but one of them died
Go
almost
ahead.
immediately.
Yeah,
Oh
well
no, no, one of them,
he's no, he
one of them.
sacrificed himself.
Yes, that's later.
Yeah, sorry.
Um,
Spoilers.
but then yeah, and then he starts mentioning that, and then the cop who just outed the criminal
Okay,
abuser,
can we talk about what he was talking about? Not to be like super controversial,
the cop
but
did. The
no,
cop.
no, the black guy.
Oh, I
He
mean,
was like so everything that he was saying was like super correct, but everybody that was around him was agreeing to be like, dude, this has nothing to do with race. And he just kept on like bringing it up like over and over and over again. And then I will say the thing that the cop said, super racist,
oh,
horrible. I hated
oh
everything
yeah,
that the cop said, but everybody else that was talking, I completely agreed with them. Like I was just like, this has nothing to do with skin color by any means. It's all just about like figure out what like I understand nobody wants to die. Everybody's gonna die. Like it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter what you look like. It's just gonna happen. You know.
yeah. He tried to
He tried to
bring it.
guilt trip almost,
I
and
mean,
I hated it.
I don't know exactly if it was that, but he definitely wanted to be like, hey, let's even this out a little bit,
Yeah.
and he tried it in a way that was not it wasn't about race. He went about it the wrong way. But
Yeah. Oh yeah.
something I do love about this movie is people who are like controlling the narrative at one point end up outing themselves because they show their bad colors. Like everyone
No, exactly.
shows their dirty laundry at one point in time in this movie.
Yeah.
Everyone hangs themselves in this movie.
But a couple,
Yeah, but a couple people, and even then, like,
pretty much.
we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But the cop airs himself out because
Oh yeah.
what he does, he's like, "Oh, boo-hoo for the black guy. You want
Yeah.
reparations?" and starts being extremely racist, and then they all
Yeah.
kill him.
Yep.
Um, Good thing they did. He deserved to die.
Yep. Yep.
And then they realize they're all. This is when they mention there's going to be one person left standing,
Yeah,
and
they
someone.
realized they were in a King of a Hill situation.
Yep, and someone's going to come out of this, and they started arguing about da 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 the pregnant woman and kid.
Yep.
And this is when I'm thinking, do you think they should kill the pregnant woman or kid? I know obviously you normally wouldn't. You wouldn't kill anyone, but like if you're in this, do you be like, okay, well obviously if we kill them, if we get rid of them right now, then everyone kind of has an equal shot,
Yeah, and
or we
they
sacrifice
won't be a
ourselves.
problem.
Yeah, or you have to choose to sacrifice yourself for the woman and kid.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the debate that's going on a little bit.
That I mean,
Um,
from right there, that's pretty much like kind of the arc of the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
Is
because
kind of like who gets yeeted out because of like even and odd numbers being displayed between two groups of people.
yeah, and this is the first time they actually start discussing the
And
pregnant.
making groups pretty
They
much.
they don't make a group yet. The groups form
Oh,
a little
facts,
bit
yeah.
further, but this
Yeah,
is the first
that's
time
true.
they discuss it. And so what do you think? Are you kind of pro kid, pro woman, pro pregnant
Okay,
woman? Are you pro self preservation? What are you thinking?
so in this situation of like having I would keep both of them. Like I would, of course, I would want to save both of them.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that I would try to my darndest. I will say though, if it's gonna sound, I hate saying these words. Push comes to shove, I would kill the kid. Um,
I think I would.
ah,
I
ah.
It's hard to say. I don't.
Oh,
If
same.
if I were to kill if I were if I were in this situation, obviously I'm pro kid and pro pregnant women. I would
Same.
kill the pregnant women though, for one reason. Yeah, for one reason. One reason. If we're in apocalypse type of formation like this, we're being abducted, and our mindset is preserve the future. That kid, that girl, can grow up and she can be more, even as a child at her age, she can
Like
help.
resilient or something. Yeah.
She can help the people around her in like the tribe, because it's gonna be like we're back to tribes now, and then
Yeah.
she's gonna grow up and eventually be able to have kids and repopulate as well. The pregnant woman, she's gonna end up giving birth within the next 6 months, because she looked like she was in the final trimester, so in the final 3 months
Oh, facts.
probably.
Yeah,
and
facts.
then and then she's gonna what, give birth with like no good medical staff around and lack of resources, and even if she does make it out of childbirth, keeping that child alive in such a like apocalyptic.
Malnourished.
Yeah, it's going to be much harder for her in the
Oh yeah.
early parts of the apocalypse to be able to to survive than the child would. And then when the child does have kids, well, there's going to be a lot of people who've had kids by that point, once she's an adult and old enough and starts having kids, that they'll have
Maybe.
a process.
Yeah, hopefully.
So
No, I can agree with that. I think that there's merit to it, but
it's hard either
ah,
way. I mean,
no,
you don't
yeah,
want
it's a horrible
to.
decision. It's a horrible decision. It's fucked.
Well,
It's just fucked.
it is. It's so fucked. So, let's play a game. Let's revisit
No.
your previous choices. Let's see, are they still alive, or have you changed your mind on who will last to the final? And I'm gonna make you choose one, because I know you mentioned three people. Who did you think was gonna last, or did you kind of think the three of them?
I really was like, I think these are gonna be the last three people.
Okay, did you have any specific person you thought was going to be the final person, or no? You
Um,
weren't sure.
I it I didn't actually ever choose like a final person just because I just felt like I couldn't. I just felt like I couldn't because first of all I didn't want to be wrong,
But that's
But I
kind of the
still
point of you choosing a person, and you kind of
no,
found a
I
loophole
know.
out of what my game was. But
I know.
continue.
Well, you should have been more specific. I'm a man who finds loopholes.
Okay,
So,
well, I was specific, but that's besides the point. Continue.
nah, dude, you didn't add like clauses and like
I
section
literally said
B and
choose the
section
person you
A.
think is going to be alive at the end. The person. I said one person, and you chose
Nah, who
three.
do you
I don't
think
know
is
how
gonna
more
be the
specific I
last
can say.
standing?
Yeah,
Who do you
who
think will
do you
gonna
think
yeah.
will be the last standing? Not the three last standing, but the
Nah,
last
I mean, yeah, you
standing.
never know. They could have found a loophole too.
Okay, continue.
I still said the same three, but I my opinion changed so much throughout this. I think at this point in the movie I was like chicken baby, but like uh towards the end, like when Beard Man comes into control,
Oh, I'm excited to talk about Beard
I
Man.
I went with Black Shirt Dude cuz I started to be like okay.
You thought he was
Like
gonna
this
be the final.
well, yeah, only because he like dude, he
He
just
starts to
looks
gain control here soon.
not
This
only that, but he just looks so cold.
oh,
Like his eyes, he looks dead.
calculated.
Like they look caring, but like if you really look at him, this man's just like, no, I'm going to murder all of you. I
And you
understand how to play this game.
they okay, so then they discuss having people volunteer. And this was
This was
so
from the white collar dude. The
oh,
white collar dude has been like in charge for like this entire scene pretty much.
oh
Like
yeah.
all of our last couple points that we've talked about, it's been from like this like cocaine sniffing Wall Street walking douchebag.
Yeah, cuz
I cannot stand that dude. I
oh,
hate him.
he
He was
is
so he was just a prick.
I think the
Ugh.
only person who is worse than him was the cop. But it's close. It's
I
close
don't
between
know,
the two of
dude.
them.
The dude that called out the porn star.
Oh yeah,
I hated him.
there's a lot of terrible people in this.
I hated him. He's like, "Oh, nice tits. But you got them from your boss, eh?"
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
gets murdered, thankfully.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
he gets yeah. But
but
it took the group like 3 tries to
yeah,
kill him.
dude.
Wait,
Uh,
I just yep, sorry, continue.
you're
I
you're
hated it.
you're good. So yeah, they discuss having people volunteer. A kid named Sean volunteers. Um, and then an older gentleman is like, "No, I'm not letting a kid
Yeah,
do
I'm not
this."
letting a 16-year-old kid take his life.
Yeah, so he walks off the circle for the kid, and then they have the audacity to ask Sean again if
It's
he's
like, "Oh,
willing to
you
kill
still want to do
himself.
this?
Ooh,
You still want to volunteer?"
yeah,
She's
it
like,
was.
"Man, come on."
And then the worst part about it is the white collar
White
dude is
collar.
like,
Yeah.
"Ah, you're a
I'll
hero. I'll
name
name
my
my
kid.
kid after you," and calls him the wrong name.
Yeah, okay. So this is how it worked. It was like, yeah, no, I still will. You know, like really kind of like not there was like no music pretty much through this besides like suspenseful music, but like imagine like kind of like soft, quiet music like orchestra music like yeah, I'll still step off my circle. I'll take a bullet for the kid, right? And the white collar dude is like, "Sick. I'll name my first kid after you." And he's like, "Really? Yeah, kid, you're a national hero." Okay. Steps off and he's like, "You'll be remembered, Scott." And then he just whah! He dies.
Yeah,
And then
dude,
the
the
amputee next to
last
him, he's like, "His name was Sean."
dude,
Yeah.
the literal the
Last
last
thing he
thing
heard.
here was Scott.
Good job, Scott.
Dude, you know how much that had to hurt?
Man probably wanted to
Oh,
turn around and be like, "Nah, man, fuck you.
uh,
You step off your circle."
heel turn.
Yeah, I think the fuck not, you trick ass bitch. Sorry.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking. That part made me laugh, and it made me laugh the
Yeah.
second time, but like the first time, that was rough.
I found out how much of a cynical person I was while watching this movie because I laughed through like the whole thing.
Oh, dude, it's funny.
I didn't hysterically laugh, but like it made me just chuckle at the thought of like this is really good at representing how chaotic humans would take this situation, and like I felt like it was a really good representation of just like how fucked we would be in that situation.
I think this movie is a like good representation of how selfish humans are and how when we get pushed into literal the most immoral like we're in a situation where like there is no moral uh correct way to like
To do
get out
it.
of this. Yeah, there's no moral
Yeah.
goodness. Like there's no way you can get out of this and be like you're in the right.
Yeah.
And because of that, you see everyone's bad side come out, even the people who are being good for the most part.
Facts.
Um, so we then from there get to the once the kid kills himself, they discuss what happens when two people at the end that one person has to
Oh,
sacrifice
and they
himself.
tie kind of thing.
Yeah, because you can't vote for yourself. And
Yeah.
so then the blonde guy discusses killing either the kid or the pregnant lady because one of them needs to be left alive in the end. So we have to kill one of them. And that's when two groups start to form: pro kid, pro pregnant lady,
Yeah.
or pro save yourself. And the
Yeah. Yep.
blonded
Yep.
bearded guy who we've mentioned is the leader of this group. And this is when it really gets to like Survivor, because then they start
Yeah.
like block voting and there's like
Yeah.
alliances forming.
It's like, okay, now we only need 6 more. Like, you win. You win.
Yeah,
It's
and
it's nuts.
that's when they tie with the little girl, and because there's multiple times that
The
the little girl ties with someone else because they keep
Yeah.
getting really close where they tie, and then
It's like 4 votes in a row, pretty much,
yeah, and when you
isn't
tie,
it?
then I think it's like three or four. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's once they get down to like seven people, they stop tying. But like for like 10 to 7 or like 11 to 10, 11 to 7 or something like that, I think it's like 3 to 4 times in a row that she
It's
ties with
it's
someone.
it's 3 times. She ties once with the long-haired dude that switched his vote, and the black shirt guy caught him switching votes. Remember?
Yes, yes,
And then
yes,
it's the other
yes.
chick with long hair, and then it's the other time where all 3 of them, the pregnant woman, the chick, and then the guy behind them,
Oh, and
and
he
then they
says
kill.
kill them. But one specific time, the little girl ties with a Hispanic man, and the Hispanic man just kills himself to save the girl.
Yeah, that.
He doesn't even let them get a chance to kill her. He just
Yeah.
kills himself.
So, small little like 30-second thing. So he doesn't speak English at all, right?
Oh
And
yes,
he
yes.
he has a translate like behind him, and before she steps off the circle, I don't know if you caught this or not. I don't know if she dies or steps off the circle. Either way,
She gets
she
killed.
she
She gets voted
whispers
out.
something. She whispers something to him. Did
I
you
did
catch
not
that?
catch that.
Yeah,
No.
she says something in Spanish to him right before she dies, and I think it was like, I'm just assuming, I don't speak Spanish, uncultured swine over here, um, like protect the kid or something like that. That's what my brain equated it to, like don't die or like something, I don't know, something like that.
Probably some like
Yeah,
last ditch effort because she gets voted off and she's pro kid.
yeah,
And then we get towards the end, and the blonde bearded dude is like the head of Team Save Yourself, and Team Kid and Woman, pregnant woman, is the guy in the black shirt, the guy that you thought was gonna last to the end, and you think was soulless. I didn't think he was
yeah.
soulless, but
He
the first
scared the
time I
fuck
watched
out of
this
me, dude.
movie, once I got to this point in the movie, I thought he was gonna last to the end myself too. Like I thought
Yeah,
he would be the last person that wasn't the pregnant lady and kid.
yeah,
Now, rewatching this, there's certain moments that showed his intention, and I'll talk about those in a bit. But the blonde guy is convincing people to join his cause because they'll have a chance to see the people they love and get out alive. And the preacher at this point he kills himself because he can't stand this anymore. Like he doesn't want to kill anyone else. He doesn't want to kill the kid or anything. And he just like I'm assuming felt guilty at that point and just walked off.
yeah,
And this is the first time that pro uh pro save yourself gets the lead in votes.
Mm.
And they're in the lead because the husband and wife join Team Kid and then get convinced to join Team Save Yourself. And then the
Uh,
preacher kills himself, and then the odds are now in pro Save Yourself. And this is when I noticed something that I did not notice.
huh.
So after the preacher kills himself, the next death I think is the black guy, the one who mentioned race earlier in the film. And the reason why I noticed something is the army guy starts talking to the husband and says, "Hey, okay, you don't want to vote with us? We'll vote out your wife. Do you want your wife to live? We'll vote her out. We're going to vote her out. Everyone vote for the wife." And pretty much says everyone vote for the wife. And he cracks the husband to vote with them. And then last second goes, "Kill the black guy," which I'm not going to lie,
Yeah,
just like
I hated
how
it.
how quickly that happened, it made me laugh.
Yeah.
Just like the reaction he gives, it's not funny. This movie isn't funny, but it's
No,
funny.
it's not. Yeah, I feel like
It's
I think the thing that makes this movie funny is almost like the timing, like because you know how there's like a comedic timing to
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
like how you set up punchlines and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I felt like this movie had perfect timing, like comedic timing. None of it was funny, but I felt like it had really good comedic
It
timing.
did. And so they kill the black guy. They convince the husband to join their team because the wife is still on Team Kid, but the husband was just voting with her. And then this is the first time they separated, and then he convinces the husband to vote with them again
Yeah.
for Team Kid. The plot hole I found, though, was the husband didn't have to do that. Team Kid didn't have the votes. He went after the wife because he was trying to get the army guy was trying to get the votes back, but
Mm.
that team didn't have the votes. Team Kid, which the army guy was on, was down a man, and that happened because the preacher killed himself. And the blonde guy even pointed out, he's like, "Now we can kill the kid." Then the army dude gives the most like charismatic grilling, like he rolled a nat 20 on his persuade or
He
intimidate.
rolled a
Actually,
nat.
he rolled a nat 20 on that intimidate check because he
Oh.
intimidated the fuck out of the husband because rationally he didn't need to do that. She was safe
Yeah.
unless his alliance turned on him, which they had no reason to do because the whole point of the alliance was to kill the kid and pregnant lady. They finally had the first opportunity to do it, and then he breaks and joins their group. And I don't think that's a plot hole. I think that's supposed to be like showing that like in an intense situation of fight or flight, life and death, people think emotionally and it's hard to like rationalize. And it was like you have 2 minutes in between rounds, you have to think quick.
Yeah. Not only that, but I kind of feel like it's last second, like someone screaming at you, like kind of like do what you're told kind of thing from an army guy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the pressure of like, oh, like I just need to listen to this person kind of thing.
Yeah, and in that is like a psychological thing too. I
Yeah.
can't remember the study, but if you look it up, it's a study that was done after World War II that was done to test to see why Nazi soldiers listened to their superior officers. And the study, if you just look up the description, you'll find it. But the study was they took, there was a guy dressed up in a lab coat who was a doctor. He wasn't a real doctor, but he claimed to be. Had like
Of
10 or
course.
20 people come in and say that there's someone on the other side and just push these dials up to give them a little shock and like go all the way and like administer shock slowly. And even though the other person on the other side of the glass they couldn't see wasn't actually being hurt, they could hear the screams over the speakers.
Hmm.
And the theory was to see how far they could get people. And there were some
Oh, I
people,
know. I've heard of this. Sorry, go
yes,
ahead.
and only a couple people actually left before getting too far because they couldn't handle it. But the majority of people gave near lethal to lethal shocks because the person in the coat told them to and they trusted authority.
Yep, yep. I remember seeing that exact um um experiment done on like the Science Channel.
Yeah, and I mean it's also like really interesting from like a psychological point of view that we really do listen to those in authority, and a guy dressed up in a he's in uniform. That's the biggest thing, is them
Yeah,
being in
no, he's in
uniform
uniform.
and them being in a position of authority. And he's in
Yep.
uniform and he's in a position of authority. And so I think you're right. That last second being grilled by someone in that position is why he swapped.
So throughout the entire movie, there's been a married couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, haha, it's a plot twist. They're not married at all in any way, shape, or form, and they're just random people.
And they figure
But
it out by
they've
asking her.
yeah, they put both of them through like a trial kind of thing. So they were like, well, what's his? They were like, how long have you guys been married? And then he was like 2 to 3 years, something like that. And then they're like, how many kids do you have? 2 or 3. How long? Like, whatever. Like, what's his mom and dad's name? Lisa and Clark or something like that. And then they were like, what's his name? Right. Well, at the very beginning of the movie, he was one of the people who said his name, and his name was Greg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she forgot his name, and then that's when everyone found out, oh my God, no. And so they yeeted him, right? Didn't they yeet him?
Yep, they killed him
Like
because
right after that?
yeah, because they're like, oh, well, we got to kill one of you, and she's
Yeah,
crying, and
yeah,
she's like
yeah.
freaking out, and he says it was her idea. Kill this bitch, kill her. And even though he's the one that said this is my wife, like he's the one, like she played
Yeah.
along with it, but he's the one who
He's the
was
one
the
that
first
started the
person.
lie.
Yeah, and so he he tried to gaslight her and say that it was
Oh,
her,
whole time. Yep. It
and
was her idea.
and then they
The
kill him,
fuck it was,
obviously.
man.
Yeah, like
And then the blonde bearded dude, he
mm-hmm.
gets into like this four-way tie, right? Or it's like a four-way or like a five-way tie, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's a huge tie. Yeah.
Yeah, and he somehow makes it out unscathed, untouched. It
Dude,
takes
the
out
man is the most charismatic person there.
it it takes out
1000%.
the lesbian chick. It takes out Christina. I don't know which one that is. The cancer lady, and Piper, and the soldier
Yeah,
in one go.
it kills everyone that was in the tie except the bearded man.
Yeah,
Like,
so it's like it's nuts.
oh yeah. Oh, so I kind of got the timing of this confused.
Oh, you're good, bro.
Um After the huge wipeout is when the pastor kills himself. The how the black guy died is still true. The army guy grills the husband to swap, and then the husband dies because it turns out the very next vote after the husband swaps and gets grilled, turns out he's not
Yeah.
the real husband, and then we
Yeah.
have the gigantic like multi-kill happen, um, which I think just happened because they ran out of time. Um, and then
Yeah, I could see that.
the deacon, the
He
priest,
steps off.
he kills himself, and then they're stuck in a position where they're really close in numbers, and
Yeah, there's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people left, right? At this point with the wife.
yeah,
It's the wife, the bearded dude, the dude
and
with the
then
black shirt,
and
the
then
guy who
the
doesn't
yep,
speak, and then the kid and the pregnant chick. So six people.
exactly, and then they end up what ends up happening is the guy in the black shirt makes a deal with the blonde guy. He's like, I'll give you the wife if you give me the kid, and the
Ah,
and the pregnant lady's like, what? Like super, and this is when I noticed that he was a little bit, he might have been a little sinister because the way he said it was so convincing.
yeah. It was a trade. Like, it wasn't like a, spare the kid, I'll give you the wife kind of thing, right? It was
Yeah.
just like, take the wife, I'll keep the kid. Eh?
Yeah,
Eh?
you kill the
Shrug
kid.
shrug shoulders, wink wink. Eh? Eh? Eh?
Yeah, you kill the kid. I'll kill the wife. We trade. Like we
Yeah.
get one
Easy,
and
easy money.
the bearded dude's like, sure. Well, the thing is, the wife ends up getting killed because the silent guy who's been silent this whole time,
And not only that, but he's never voted.
he didn't vote, and the guy in the black shirt noticed that. So
Yeah,
he was,
that man's like a Sherlock. He noticed everything. He
oh
was
yeah.
he was the people watcher
Yeah,
in
because the
this.
first half of the film, like, he talked a little bit in the beginning and then was
He has
quiet the
like the
rest.
opening lines pretty much. And then
Mm,
he's just silent.
yeah. Um, and so then the bearded guy, he convinces the way they kill the bearded guy is, which how he lasted as long as he did, I don't know.
I don't either, dude.
But they kill the bearded guy because he's telling him maybe the silent guy, maybe he's meant to be here. Maybe there's a reason he made it this far. Maybe he's invincible because he didn't vote anyone out. And he's like, you think? He's like, yeah, let's vote for him. Let's
Yeah,
vote for him.
totally mind fucks him.
And then the bearded guy's like, sure. And then he looks at the pregnant lady and gives her a look, and she like is like
Yeah.
picks up. And so then they vote for the bearded guy. And at last second, the bearded guy looks at the guy in the black shirt and is like, wait a minute.
Yeah. The good old like, oh, you fucker. Like,
You
good
got
shit,
me.
man. You got played by your own game, buddy.
Mhm. And then the silent dude. I don't remember how the silent dude goes. Did they just vote him off or did he kill himself?
um
I think they just voted him, right?
I think they voted him. I'm not sure either, because at that point I was just like kind of giddy because I got it right.
Yeah.
At that point I was like, "Fuck yeah, I got it."
Yep, and then that's your guess of the three was right.
Yeah.
And then we come to the final three. The young dude asks them, he monologues.
Yeah, facts. He
And
monologues. That's
and
that's like that's like the underlying joke of Noted Podcast. He monologues. And it's
yeah.
all because of Haro from Moon Knight.
Oh, monologue man.
He monologued.
Yeah. And so he monologues. They're like, okay, what about now? He's like, well, look, dude, I got you guys here, but like, you have to decide which one of you you're gonna let live because
Yeah,
obviously
dude.
I'm dying. You have to decide who of you two gets to live because I don't have the moral authority to choose that. I'll just
Fuck
go
this
along with what you
guy.
decide.
Yeah.
And
I hate it. I hated it so much, dude. It made me so mad, but at the same time I was just like, good shit, dude. You played the game.
like, I honestly like.
I didn't see it coming, but at the same time I was just like, this man's cold, so I can
Well,
understand it.
what ends up, as you can probably guess by the way we're talking, what ends up happening is he he the little girl says, "Yeah, I'll do it." She starts
She's
crying,
weeping.
but she's like,
Weeping.
"Yeah," she's
She
bawling. She's like,
he says, "Oh, are you doing it for the baby?" And she goes, "Yeah."
"Oh, oh,"
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, dude.
and he's like, "Okay, well then we'll walk off together." She's like, "Okay," and then starts to beep, and he
The
starts
minute
like,
he said that, I was just like, no, no, fuck this dude. I was just like, nope, he's not. I was like, nope, nope, nope,
and
nope.
and he starts grilling her. And he's like, "Okay, come on, you don't have any time. Come on, do it, do it, do it." And then he sees her foot lift to walk, and then he kills. He votes. They hear the vote happen, by the way, because you hear the ding. Anytime anyone votes, there's a ding. So he
Yeah.
votes, and they hear the ding, and the little girl and the pregnant lady look up as the little girl walks off, and the timer ends, and the pregnant lady didn't have a chance to vote, and she gets killed.
Yeah,
And,
she's stupid for that. She should have voted him.
and that's how that's how he kills both of them.
Yep.
But
And then the
wait,
dude monologues again.
yep, because it starts
What are you talking about?
'cause
I
it's-
won the game.
because it starts dinging, and he's like
Oh,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
voting sound starts happening. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then a tie happens. Want to say who tied?
The fetus.
Yep, the fetus.
He did not yeetus the fetus.
Well, he used the fetus this time because he tied with the
Well, not the
fetus,
first time.
and yeah, not the first time, but the moment he saw the fetus counted as a
He
player,
forgot to get the deluxe edition.
he killed the fetus. He voted the
Excuse
fetus
me.
off. Which, by the
Well,
way,
okay. Can I
thought
tell you a
experiment.
plot twist? Can I tell you a plot twist I had in my brain?
Well, I think we're about to say the same thing, but I'll let
Okay,
you
go
go
ahead.
first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What if the pregnant lady was the last person to survive?
Oh, that
Was she
wasn't my
gonna
thought. That wasn't my
was she,
thought. My
was she
my
gonna
thought
have
was
to was she gonna have to
get an abortion. Oh, tough. Oh
That's
no.
so bad. Would
Yeah,
she
she would have. She would have had to off herself. That's how the game works.
Dude,
Uh,
she would have had to vote for her own baby. And then it
no,
would have zapped
my
her baby, but that would definitely kill her. I highly
no
doubt that the
facts.
laser's that well, no,
Nah, dude, it's precise. It's precise.
apparently the laser is that precise because it was able to kill the mother without killing the fetus.
Oh, dude, it would have insta aborted. She would have been skinny and everything.
Oh my god. That's so
No, dude. Okay, so my
That's so
my
fucked
thought
up.
was that I thought that I thought that the movie was gonna go inside of her stomach, and then the baby was gonna be like, boy, and then like clench his fist, and then the dude was gonna die. That's where my brain went.
Oh, that
I
would be
was like,
so
Dude,
bad.
anything could happen now," and so I thought my brain was yeah. I thought it was funny. I laughed so hard once her stomach started to glow. I was just like, "Oh my god, the baby's gonna kill this man.
The
This is gonna
chosen
be
one.
great." Anakin
Oh,
Skywalker.
yeah. But then end B roll, there's ships over
Ships
the sky
everywhere. Yeah.
and there's groups of
L.A.
a human.
Canal
Yeah, and he's standing there in a group
with like
of
14 people.
yeah, and there's like some children, there's some pregnant ladies,
Yeah, you can
and
tell
then
that some ships made the right decision.
yeah, and then there's a couple just older men.
Yeah, that probably played the same game that he
Yeah.
did.
Or just didn't have any pregnant ladies and kids in their group.
That's what I said. That's what I said. When I was done watching it, I was like, I bet that ship just didn't have any ultimatums in it.
And or that ship just got rid of it quick.
Yeah, or they were first deaths. Yeah, that's
um
facts. That could have been it too.
yeah, and so
Damn.
yeah, and then they kind of like montage through his like they kind of do like a
They
montage
do a full circle
of him talking his certain things he said
at the very beginning of
throughout
the movie. No, it
yeah
was that
throughout
that
the
was the
scenes.
the very last thing that he said at the end was the very first thing he said at the beginning.
Oh yes,
Yeah. So
and they
they like
showed
kind of full circled it, which made it even feel more sinister because then it's just like this dude had the plan from the beginning to do this.
well that also is why I thought he might have been in like my theory at one point in time when I watched this movie. I don't believe it's true anymore just because then like how would the rest of the people not like he was about to get zapped up with not know this, but I thought he might have been in the circle once already
Oh, yeah, I don't agree with that, but I could see how you could think that.
because like he had such a good plan off the
No, I
bat.
think he's just a serial killer.
Yeah, I mean he might just played a lot of video games and watched Survivor too much.
Are you
uh
saying that video games induce violence,
oh
Daniel?
god, no, I'm just saying the critical
Do
thinking
you
would
play
kill you.
GTA
Fuck
5?
off. I actually don't because I don't like that game.
What?
um
That's okay. I don't play it anymore. I do play Red Dead though, which is just as bad.
but that's
I've
this
I've I've drug people from my horse multiple of times.
yeah, dude, that's wild.
It's so
uh
nice. Sorry.
But you're fine. But yeah, this B-roll, this last like 3 minutes, is literally 90% of the budget because it's the one time they're in
Yeah,
any other
and
scene.
it's
With
shit. It looks bad.
for
When
an
was this
indie
movie?
film, it wasn't bad.
Nah,
2015.
no, you cannot. Wait, when was it?
2015, and it's an indie film.
Nah,
It's a low budget indie film.
nah,
Oh,
nah.
by the way, the actress I recognized is the fake wife. She is from Dexter.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, yeah, one of my favorite things. I'm just gonna make a quick comment, and then I'll
Yeah.
ask you a question, and then we'll head out. So, one of the things I really like about this film is the fact it takes place in one room the whole time. I
Oh,
think
same.
it leaves a unique it allows the film to be almost all it's all dialogue, which
Yeah.
I think is really interesting because you don't see that often, and they do it in a very good way, and it really forces the you because you somehow don't know anything about the characters, but also know a lot about the characters while also knowing nothing. It's a weird
Mm-hmm.
dynamic, and it's like it's fast paced, but also kind of feels slow because it's all dialogue, and I just love the it's forcing normal people to make terrible decisions.
I feel like the slow feeling is like a stall. It
Yeah,
never feels slow, but it's the building of anticipation. Like you know someone's about to die all the time.
exactly,
So it always
exactly.
feels like there's like the stall before the shock. It's just like, oh shit, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I totally
So,
agree though.
uh, so I was gonna ask you, what is your favorite thing about this film?
Um, I would probably have to say that the fact that it's in one room. Like, if we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about just like aesthetically, I
Or
would have to
just in
say
general, writing wise or whatever. But continue, sorry.
no, you're fine. I would say I'll break it up into kind of different sections. Um, Production wise, like how it was made and everything like that. The fact that it was in one room, and at the very beginning, the shots are like kind of not boring by any means, but there's like never really like moving camera scenes a lot or like quick paced scenes, and until the end when the quote unquote arena gets bigger, you can really see how big the room is. I loved the feeling of like because when I watch movies, sometimes I like place myself like where the camera is, like if I were to be the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it I loved that the longer the movie went on, the more kind of dynamic shots happened.
Yeah.
Um, and I just thought it added more to like what you were saying earlier about like quickness and like the slowness of it. It made it feel like, hey, we're only in a room, we can't really do much, but we can play with perspectives and stuff like that and kind of mess with you. And I enjoyed that. I thought writing wise and things like that, I didn't like the fact that I got no explanation for aliens. I kind of wanted to see like possibly like other ships like sending people down or like picking people up or like I never wanted to see the alien. I love not seeing creatures behind the terror. I think it keeps the mystery and the aminicity or whatever that English word is.
Yeah.
Um but I wanted more of the before and the after. Just a little bit more.
A
Like
little
maybe
explanation.
like not even that, but kind of like when they're talking about being abducted and stuff like that, like
Show
on
them
the
be
highway and
abductive.
stuff. Yeah, like show the experience of like, ah, fuck, what's happening? And then they like black out or something like that. I
I
just
think
wanted a
that would
little
be
more
cool,
like
yeah.
behind the scenes or like when they're talking about like having the affair or something like that. Kind of like I don't know if you've seen the movie Saw, but Saw does this a lot
Oh yeah. Oh
where
yeah, I've
yeah,
seen
where
Saw.
they'll like show like images of like what the people were doing and stuff like that. I really like that because it builds like a whole world, but you're stuck in this small room killing each other kind of thing.
Dude, that does remind me of Saw 1, because Saw 1's pretty much solely, if not completely solely, in that room.
Yeah, no, the whole movie's in that room.
And that's honestly the best part about Saw 1, in my opinion. That's kind of
Yeah.
where the rest of the Saws go astray. It's like, it's
Yeah,
less
it's
about
just
the,
too open and more
it's,
rooms and
well,
stuff.
and it's less about the experience of the people. Well, because when
Yeah.
you're stuck in that room the whole time, you feel like you're there. Because that's what I like about this is
Mm-hmm.
throughout this movie, you feel like you want to vote. You feel like you're in the room. You're like, I'm gonna vote with these people. Like, fuck you. You should go. Or yeah, I agree. Like, at least for me, it's like I'm almost like in the circle with them. You feel the tension.
Yeah.
There.
You're trapped in that bathroom.
It's simple but beautiful, and like I think that's kind of maybe why the rest of the Saw movies get a little out of hand is because they start adding too much behind the mystery of Jigsaw.
Yeah.
and it becomes more about him and less about the people and the situations. But I digress. Continue.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I just wanted just a little more. I felt like what I got was like just like cut dry, and I'm okay with that because I enjoyed it. But I'm always a person that is small critiques can always be more information in my opinion. I love feeling like I have. I love when I have knowledge characters don't in
Mm,
movies, right? So like when the audience knows before the rest of the people. And I think having shots of other people's lives or like having shots of them being abducted like gives us information of like their world without any of the other characters being able to know kind of thing. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool. Um
yeah, I think if this movie was like made with like a larger budget or by like a bigger studio,
oh
they
yeah.
could definitely do something like that. Like for example, like when they talk about the lesbian and she mentions her family, they could cut to like a flashback of her with her family while
Oh
she
yeah.
mentions
Well,
their names
and
or something like
when I'm
that.
talking flashbacks, I'm not talking like full scenes. I'm talking like just like flashes, like
Yeah,
literal
yeah, yeah.
flashbacks, just like flashes and clips of like playing with toys or like like heading out the door and like saying goodbye or stuff like that. Like the white collar dude like yelling at people in his office or something like that. But I think overall, like with the writing of like the whole story and like the plot twist, not like the small little plot twists through each character, but like how the last dude like pulled the rug out from under them. I thought it was good, and I I won't say I saw it coming from an early spot in the movie, but I definitely saw it coming once I understood, oh, this guy's fucked up. You know, like
Yeah,
he's
you
he's
cued
he's
in on him.
yeah, he's going to kill somebody. Like he has there is no good intention behind those soulless eyes. This guy terrifies me. And which also makes me happy of like my first like guess of like who I thought was going to be at the like at the very beginning, who I thought was going to be at the very end. Like that's why I'm so happy that I picked him, because my brain went threat, threat, soulless eyes, can't do it. He looks like he has a floating head. Is he an alien? Threat. And he was.
Yeah,
He
no, I mean,
fucking was.
good on you. I personally didn't see it coming.
Dude,
And I
he
think
is
that's part of the
terrifying.
reason why I liked the ending so much is because I thought he was going to make it to the end, but I thought he was going to sacrifice himself.
Yeah. I wanted him
Um,
to. I also
I,
didn't see the fetus. I didn't even
oh,
think of that, dude. Like
yeah,
when that
that
happened,
really shocked me.
I was like, "Oh." And then I was like, of course, my brain went, "Oh, dude, this baby's going to kill him." But like I was like, "Oh shit. This man's got to like not only did he just kill two quote unquote innocent people, but like he really had to drive the nail through the coffin.
They
Like he
forced him to
really
fully do it.
he really had to commit. Ooh.
Well, my last and final question, would you say this is notable?
I I think it's notable for reasons that are just because I like to hear people argue. Like I like to hear debates and like sides of stories. I find that really interesting. I love to just listen to people talk. Um I'm not going to lie. This is a hard one for me to like on a scale of like 1 to 10 is it notable kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I give it like a solid 8.5.
That's pretty
8
good.
I'll
Is 10 being it is notable?
yes. Yes.
Okay,
10
okay, okay,
higher
okay.
numbers are always better than ones unless you're saying what's your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it like an 8.5. I think sometimes like I say it also just production wise for me visually movies have to look appealing and stuff like that, but the ending really killed me with like the spaceships, dude. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I was
obviously
I
a
was
low
like,
budget film.
yeah, no,
Like
and I know that. I know
there's
that.
no hiding behind that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I can definitely understand why that might be a little bit of a killer for you, especially because you are someone who really likes
I just like when things
uh
look.
yeah, that's something you really pay a lot of attention to. So I can understand that being the production side of it being a little bit of a killer for you.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I like this movie is just because in a world of movies that are like $100 million synced in or $30 million synced in and like
Yeah, no, I
crazy
get you.
CGI
Marvel.
and like Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, just everything just being super crazy high budget, large scale shit. It's nice to see something that is just more about the content in it to
Yeah.
the degree where it forces you to stay in one room. And like that's a turnoff for some people.
Not only
But
that, but it forces you to listen
it
because
does.
you want to know the arguments.
Mm-hmm. And there's no like action. The action is the dialogue.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, yeah, there's no action. You step off the circle, you did.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I would give it an 8.5.
no, that makes sense.
I will also say I would recommend it to people who have the liking of this movie. I don't know if I would just go around and recommend it to people saying that it's like a super super good movie. I feel like this is a niche movie because like I said earlier, like it has controversial topics that like can make people heated. Like this has some controversial shit in it, which is like today real time controversial. They like the lesbian chick is like, "Oh, so we think we should save this girl just because she can hold a baby?" She's like pro-abortion, right? That's very controversial. Then you
Yeah.
have like the black guy talking about how he wants to kill all the white people. Not all the white people, but like
No, like,
balance the scale and he
he
doesn't
just
want to
doesn't
be.
want like all the black people to die immediately. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah.
exactly. And I completely agree. I think everybody's equal. I don't care about skin color, but like the way that he was presenting it was just kind of like very, it's going to sound horrible, but like pro black people, not pro white people, when it should have just been pro survive, but we're all going to die anyways. And then it also has racism and
Mm-hmm.
like it's just it's a fucking shit show. It has like
I.
elitists with the whole banker dude. Like he wants to know
Mm-hmm.
people's salary and he wants to know people's like
He wants to know the
occupation to
little girl's
whether
grades.
yeah, whether she has straight A's. And he wants to know people's occupations in the sense of like what they do outside um of like work and if they contribute to their community. He like it's not slut shaming, but he like frowns upon the fact that the pregnant woman doesn't have a father and has like a baby daddy and she's waiting for him to, do something. And then you also have the dude who legitimately slut shames a girl with like
Mm-hmm.
bigger boobs because she's trying to get with her boss. And then you have like religion that falls into it and it's just like it's a
It
heavy movie and
it
it's controversial and I
well,
love it.
and that's why I like this movie because the no one's the same. No one believes the same
Oh,
thing, whether it be
facts.
right or wrong.
Facts.
And the
Yep.
world is controversial. It always is that way, and that's why I like this. Is because I feel like a lot of times in movies it doesn't show that, and if it does, it only shows one angle.
Yep.
And it's like I feel like this is just like if this situation happened, this is really how it would be.
Yep.
This is
Yep.
true because we would have so many people from so many different walks of life with so many different beliefs, so many different like ideologies, and like they all at one point in time seem okay and then hang themselves later, and like they hang themselves with their words and their
Yep.
biases comes out and their prejudice comes out and their own beliefs come out into play, and it's like the guy who won never talked about himself. Think about
Yeah.
that. The guy who
Yeah.
won never ever showed anything of
Below the
him.
belt.
He kept everything locked in a box deep down inside. The only thing he morally stood for was pro pregnant lady and kid
I mean, we
because
don't know that. He
that's
used them.
well, I was saying the only thing he publicly stood
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Like the
No.
only
Yeah.
thing he publicly stood for was that, and that's because it's safe. It's
Yeah.
safe to say that because everyone's gonna agree with that for the most part until about halfway through. But for the most part, everyone agreed, and
Yep.
so like it was a safe thing to talk about. It was a safe thing to agree on. It wasn't gonna get him voted out immediately for it, and
Yeah.
so it's like I think it's just an example of the reality of humans, and I don't know. I get what you mean. It's definitely not for everyone, and I've learned that slowly because I recommend this movie to people all the time. Or I did. It's one of those things that
Yeah.
like I don't bring it up immediately, but if someone's at my house, we're hanging out, they're like, I don't know, what do you want to watch? I'm like,
The Circle.
and I
Or
look at them,
sorry.
circle.
Circle.
I look at them like wheel turn on my chair. Well, I got a movie for you.
Well, let me tell you something right here. You want to watch a bunch of people stand in a circle and kill each other?
And I've gotten
Yeah.
such a mixed bag of reactions. So please, in the comments below, tell me your reaction to this. So I'm doing,
Yeah.
because literally almost every reaction I got is different every time. And so I just want to see your reaction, and I want
Are
to know
you
what you
proud
think.
of me? Are you proud of me that I big brained this though? That I guessed the correct 3 people from the beginning? Are you proud of me?
I'm a little annoyed you guessed 3 people. I ain't gonna
But are you
lie, because
proud?
it
Okay.
defeats the point of what. It's easy to guess 3 people. It's hard to guess one person.
Yeah, but the 3 correct people?
Okay, 2 of them were easy choices. Let's be
Okay,
honest.
fine. Then are you proud of me for guessing
Him, yes,
the
I am
one
proud that you
person
guessed him.
that was like probably not one that you were thinking I would guess?
I did not think you were going to get him. I am proud about
Okay.
that. I expected you to
So
choose the pregnant lady or the girl. Those two I could
what?
see.
But see, the
Those
reason
two,
why I
those
picked them
two
is
I could
because those
see.
were givens. Like my
Yes,
brain was
that's
like,
why I
of
was.
course they're gonna save them. Like I can't
Well,
just pick either one of them
well,
because of
that's
course
why.
everyone's gonna be like, oh, we gotta keep them safe.
Well, and that's why I expected you to choose one or the other because they're both givens, and that's also why I said choose one. But you did choose him too. Even though you chose 3, your 3 were correct, and you chose you put him in the group. I did
Yeah,
not expect you to put him in there, so good job on that.
good. Thank you.
Mm.
I just wanna be acknowledged for my greatness, sir. Okay. I know I broke the rules, but like, what great people haven't broke the rules, Daniel?
Yeah.
Look at Albert Einstein.
Um,
Okay.
oh my
So.
god. Well, please comment your perspectives and what you thought about this movie. Like, comment, subscribe, and that has been this week of Noted.